Atlanta Community Profiles, a show about living in Atlanta. Atlanta Community Profiles is hosted by Lou Whelan, who will talk to experts who know this ever-changing city and its real estate industry. We'll talk to mayors, community leaders, and residential real estate experts. Now, here's Lou Whelan with this week's Atlanta Community Profiles.
Hello there and welcome to our show. My name is Lou Whelan. I publish the official relocation guides on Atlanta that are distributed by the First Multiple Listing Service of Atlanta. We have one for the metro area, one for Gwinnett County in partnership with the Gwinnett Chamber, one for Cobb County in partnership with the Cobb Association of Realtors, one for North Fulton in partnership with the North Fulton Chamber of Commerce, and one for Inside 285. They're available on my website, atlantacommunityprofiles.com. You can download them or you can check other information on that website that is packed full of great information on Atlanta. I'm also a realtor with Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, Georgia Properties. If I can help you with any of your real estate needs, I would be more than happy to do that. And as you know, every week we interview community leaders and people who are contributing to the well-being of our great city. And it is my distinct pleasure and honor to welcome back to the show Nick Masino, Chief Economic Development Officer for Partnership Gwinnett. And welcome back to the show. Thank you very much for coming on the show today. Appreciate it.
My pleasure, Lou. It's always a pleasure to be here with you.
Thank you. And I might start out by saying I'm sorry for being late. I was actually with the city, one of the cities in your area for like 2 hours with the city of Sugar Hill. And that's phenomenal things happening over there. Now tell me, how does Partnership Gwinnett interact with cities like Sugar Hill and Gwinnett County that are really growing like crazy?
Well, Sugar Hill is an absolutely fantastic example of the growth that's happening throughout the Gwinnett County area. And we work very closely with Gwinnett County, the overall government of Gwinnett County, and very closely with the municipalities as well. And how we work with them, and let me say, is Gwinnett has 16 cities, which is the most amount of cities of any county in Georgia. Fulton County has added a few cities in the last couple of years, and they actually have 15 cities now, with the creation of I think it's the city of South Fulton. But we work very closely with them, and the value add for the cities working with us is our reach. We have the largest local economic development team in Georgia, Partnership Gwinnett, which is a division of the Gwinnett Chamber of Commerce. And we have because it's such a large team, and we have the resources where we literally travel around the United States and around the world recruiting, retaining, and expanding companies. And when a company tells us they want to be in a certain environment, we can identify which corner of Gwinnett County, which may also include one of those municipalities. So we really help those cities at a reach that they really could not do on their own.
So we'll go back to that, but let me finish with a little bit of an introduction. You graduated from Ohio State, bachelor's degree in interpersonal and organizational communication. And let's see, you've had the position that you're in right now for 11 years, right?
11 years, correct.
And you've done quite a bit in 11 years, and you've been on my show a few times during that period. What's your biggest, in your mind, your biggest achievement?
Well, it's not going to be the answer you're looking for. It's not the biggest company I recruited. I really have built, with the help of a lot of people, an incredible team. And the folks I work for and work with are really fantastic. And so my biggest accomplishment is just building, I think, the greatest economic development team in Georgia. There's lots of great projects. They're all special and unique in their own way. But being able to represent a community I've lived in for 24 years is really a lot of fun.
Okay, so back to nuts and bolts. You have had 250 companies or company expansions in the 11 years. Is that correct?
Probably more, but yes.
Roughly?
Billions of dollars in investment.
Billions of dollars. And so I'll give you a softball question. And
sure.
That would be why Gwinnett? What's what has been the main attraction and feature that you sell when you travel around the world?
Sure. Well, when I'm outside of the United States, we're not pitching the brand of Gwinnett, and my friends in Cobb and Fulton are not pitching their county brand. We are pitching the United States, the Southeast, the fastest growing part of the United States, and then the fastest growing region, arguably in the United States, is Metro Atlanta. So we're pitching Atlanta. And when we do some of these trips, we're not doing them alone either. I'm sometimes with the Georgia Department of Economic Development, one of our utility partners, and folks from other counties. And so we're pitching a region. We're pitching the brand of Georgia and Metro Atlanta. And then you get down into why specifically Gwinnett. And if we can get them interested in the region, we'll obviously have our fair opportunity to pitch them on our region. Gwinnett is a unique part for a couple of reasons. No one else can say this, we were the fastest growing county in the United States, 87, 88, 89. We were in the top 100 fastest growing counties for the last 30 years. We still are. We are still the fastest growing part of this region. That's not slowed down. And so why are people attracted? People are attracted because it is the best school systems, the best public school systems. We literally, for the last 7 years in a row, have had the #1 school in Georgia, which is the Gwinnett School of Math Science Technology. The park system has no comparison. 12,000 acres Gwinnett County has added specifically to the park system in the last 20 years. It's probably the fastest growing public park system in the U.S. And then the municipalities have added another 2,000 acres. The quality of life is just really incredible. The local road system is probably the easiest to get around. We don't have a lot of local congestion. And Gwinnett County government and the municipalities have just done an incredible job of investment. When the word gets out about that, there's no one in Gwinnett County out selling Gwinnett to residents. We do that on the business side. That's what our team does. But the word's out. I mean, it's out nationally and globally. If you're going to come to the United States, it's a very low cost of place to live and just high quality value. The reason why that's important is companies are looking for talent today more than ever. I was in the recruiting and headhunting industry for 12 years, and I lived in Metro Atlanta and worked in Metro Atlanta in the late 90s and early 2000s, before 2001, when the environment was incredibly competitive. It is more competitive today than it was then for talent. And because we're the place where that's been the fastest growing population for 30 years in the region, we have a lot of companies that are very attracted because they're looking for talent. There's a talent war happening in the United States and around the world. And we're doing very well as we attract tens of thousands of people every year.
Well, from what I gather, workforce development is one of the key elements in the equation. And you have some good technical schools in Gwinnett County that are contributing to that concept. And let's talk about some of those schools, if you don't mind.
Sure, Lou, we do. We actually have Gwinnett Technical College, which is the flagship technical college for the state of Georgia. It's so successful that North Fulton asked for a branch campus to be opened up 4 years ago. And so it's a wonderful college, very focused on technology and life sciences. And then they actually have the first ever Mercedes-focused training program in the United States. We're really excited about that. And then the other college I'll mention, which is not part of the technical system, but it's part of the university system of Georgia, is Georgia Gwinnett College. It has 13,000 students. It's one of the fastest growing four-year colleges in the United States. And we're very, very proud of both of those colleges and the university.
Now, from what I gather, the companies that come here from outside the United States or within the United States are particularly attracted to that kind of education that would be available to their employees. What kind of feedback have you received from them on that basis?
You're absolutely correct. And specifically, I think I'll share the feedback in this way. Gwinnett County has over 600 international-based businesses, and our friends in Cobb have literally a third of that. They have about 200, maybe 225. And the results, I think, speak more to anything that I could quote. But because of the talent war, because of our location, all the things I already mentioned, we are an ideal place for international businesses. And because we have the most diverse population in the Southeast United States, and our languages that of the citizens that live in Gwinnett County, international businesses absolutely love the workforce and all the benefits of having that diverse language base available to hire.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back after the break. You ready? Welcome back. I'm Lou Whelan. We're sitting here with Nick Masino, Chief Economic Development Officer of Partnership Gwinnett. And we got a lot of things going on and talking about, and we got a little ahead of ourselves. But I would like to ask you to define Partnership Gwinnett before we get into some of the activities and any further into that.
Sure, absolutely. Thanks for asking. Partnership Gwinnett is a community and economic development strategy that was created in 2006 to create an organization and a group of individuals in the community, both public, private, and nonprofit, focused on attraction of companies, to recruit, retain, and expand companies in our targeted industries. And those target industries are technology, life science, advanced manufacturing, supply chain, and just generally corporate regional headquarters. Of those 5 target industries, corporate headquarters, regional headquarters is our largest cluster. We clearly don't have towers like you would see in Midtown or Buckhead or downtown, but Gwinnett County is just full of 1, 2, 3-story office buildings just filled with corporate regional headquarters employment. The next most popular one is our advanced manufacturing. And then the next one is supply chain. We also do very, very well in technology. We are the birthplace of technology in Georgia. Tech Park, which was founded in the 70s by Georgia Tech alumni. Every company incubated out of Georgia Tech for 30 years went to Tech Park. That is a widely accepted thing. We are the number 3 county in the state for technology employment. North Fulton, which is really the size of 3 counties combined into one, is usually number 1, and because they're just number 1 in everything because their size is 3 times the size of any other county. But we have a strong technology presence, and because of our closeness to both the CDC and Emory, we have a lot of life science startups. Those are ex-employees of the CDC and Emory. They lived in Gwinnett because of the great school system, the great quality of life, and they decide after 20, 30 years to start a company. And we just really exceed the region in life science startups. And so that's Partnership Gwinnett's there and exists to expand, retain, and recruit those 5 target industries.
Let's, just from an organization structure standpoint, you are a part of the Gwinnett Chamber of Commerce, but you are funded a little bit differently?
Yeah, correct. So it was an initiative created by the Chamber, the business community, and the public sector, Gwinnett County, and the municipalities work together to create Partnership Gwinnett. It is a separate funded initiative. So in many counties in Georgia, you have a development authority, and those are government employees that work for the development authority. In our community, they decided 12 years ago to create this public-private partnership. So Partnership Gwinnett is funded by Gwinnett County, many of our municipalities, community improvement districts, the Convention and Visitors Bureau, and then about 80 private sector businesses. So it's a true public-private partnership. And we are embedded in the Gwinnett Chamber of Commerce. Our team of 11 work on the second floor of the Gwinnett Chamber, and my boss is the chamber president, Dr. Dan Kaufman.
Okay, so you mentioned the CIDs. Now, how do you interact with the respective CIDs within the county?
All CIDs in Gwinnett County are partners and funders of Partnership Gwinnett, and much of the similar answer to the municipalities is we can expand their reach more than they would ever be able to do for a fraction of the cost that would cost them to do. So we're out marketing development and redevelopment sites in the community improvement districts. When we're on the other side of the planet or on the other side of the United States selling and marketing parts of Gwinnett County, we're representing those CIDs.
Okay. So
we work very closely. Many of the CID leaders are very involved in the leadership of Partnership Gwinnett, very engaged.
okay. So let me ask you this question too that I'm curious about, and that is the amount of available land in Gwinnett County. Would you address that issue?
Sure. I mean, we're
For development,
for development,
commercial or residential, really.
So the days of greenfield development in Gwinnett County is definitely waning. You're in real estate, Lou. They're not making any more real estate.
No, no more land anymore.
Yeah,
Sure.
that
Not
was
at all.
that was my bad joke. That anyone in real estate could
Is right. You're right.
could finish that answer. But in regards to real estate, absolutely, we're in a different situation. We are very focused on the redevelopment of Gwinnett County because again, we're very limited land. We have projects that we work with companies and prospects on, and if somebody wanted to build 1 million square foot facility in raw land in Gwinnett County, we cannot help them. That it just doesn't exist anymore. But what does exist is developments that were built when Gwinnett County was exploding in the 70s, 80s, and I would argue in the 90s, that is ripe for redevelopment. So it costs a lot more money to redevelop than to redevelop existing property and buildings. And also the regulations have all expanded since the 70s, 80s, and 90s. More modern, what do you do with detention and retention of stormwater? That wasn't really a thought in the 70s and 80s and 90s. And now Metro Atlanta as an entire region has been much more focused on using the land more properly, making sure water is treated more properly. And so there's a lot of investment that has to happen before you reinvest. The great news, the county and the cities and the CIDs are all working together to make sure that in the places that are ripe for redevelopment, that land is set aside or being acquired for water detention and retention, being required now with the thought of connecting transit. I'd love to talk about it if you're interested, but
We'll get to that.
What our future is
We'll
in
get to
transit.
it.
Awesome.
It's on the front page all the time, so we definitely need to talk about it.
Great. But now we're thinking about it as we redevelop. Where is the transit hubs going to be? Where are we going to put the detention of water? We're really focused on the older parts of Gwinnett, and there's lots of great examples of where that's happening. You might be aware that Gwinnett County acquired the 1996 Olympic Tennis Center. That was sitting, it's the Gwinnett side of Stone Mountain, sitting vacant for 15 years. And that has now been leveled, removed at the expense of Gwinnett County. They proactively purchased it, and it is now ripe for redevelopment. They have acquired they will acquire in December 104 acres of the OFS facility right at Jimmy Carter and I-85 for redevelopment. And then they've been acquiring strategic pieces around the Gwinnett Place Mall. And then also they've acquired strategic pieces around the Infinite Energy Center, the Gwinnett Center, for development and redevelopment. So lots of focus. The municipalities all could tell you, they could spend an entire show, each one of our municipalities, about their efforts. Same with our community improvement districts surrounding redevelopment. So Gwinnett's future is going to be more about redevelopment than greenfield development, and it's going to be a much more vertical, mixed-use, walkable, connected community.
So I know you want to talk about transportation, and it's been in the news a lot lately, and our producers over there telling me don't get too involved in a conversation because we're going to have a break in a minute, but the transportation is coming up, an issue is coming up for a vote here in October, is it, or November?
It's actually, it's March, I think, 19th.
March?
Or maybe March 9th, I'm sorry. It's probably the first
Not
Tuesday.
Next spring?
Yes, winter, spring, March.
Next March, okay.
2019.
Somehow I thought it was this fall, okay. When we get back after the break, we won't have time to explore it right now, but I would like to talk to you about what's involved in that and how important transportation is to Gwinnett from an economic development perspective. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.